Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, the longer you collect currency, the more things you are going to accumulate, obviously. Um, and the thing is, it's a good idea to go back through some of your stuff, especially stuff you've collected from your earlier days. There were a lot of things you probably saw for the first time that when you saw it, you thought, oh, this has got to be cool. This has got to be worth money. And you set it aside. And now, with a little bit of experience, you realize not everything is collectible or worth money. You'd be surprised how much money you can actually give yourself by clearing out your collection. One of the things that I did was I went through all of my small sized $100 bills. Now, the fact that I can say all of my small size $100 bills, that alone lets you know that I had some money sitting there. I had managed to put away probably close to 40 small sized $100 bills over the course of a number of years. The thing is, not all of them were worth money. I simply set aside all of the small sized 100s that I had, but I would end up finding notes that were in terrible shape and that had writing on them and were just generally bad. But after going through all of those notes, I discovered, hey, I've got one note from 1981 that's really good. I don't need these three bad notes from 1981 that are all wrinkled up. And since I knew there was no additional money to be gained by trying to sell them, I just spent them. So simply by going through my collection, by the time I was done, I ended up having about $2,000 worth of notes that I was able to literally just spend because I held them thinking they were worth something, but now that I looked at them with new eyes, I knew that that wasn't the case. Not everything is going to be worth money, even the small head currency that you see. If it is in really, really bad shape, then it's probably just a spender. All right. I got my 1,000 singles. Let's slide these out of the way and let's take a look at what I found this week. Found a Where's George. Right here, circulate black, or no, not a Where's George. This is just a stamp that says circulate black dollars in black communities. It's an interesting stamp that I saw on a note, so I decided I was going to pull it. At a glance, I'm thinking, where's George? Because I see red and I see writing, but nope, that's not what it is. So that was interesting. Found a birthday note. This one would be June 9th, 2018, or it would be the 6th of September, 2018. Here is a trinary, 2s, 7s, and 8s. I've got another trinary, 1s, 4s, and 8s. This is 5s, 6s, and 8s. 8 seems to be the number of the day. 4s, 5s, and 6s. 0s, 5s, and 8s. 2s, 4s, and 6s. 7s, 8s, and 9s. And here's quads. This one's got quad 2s, quad 3s on this one, quad 9s. This one's in pretty good shape. And some stars. Here's a 2017A, another 2017A. Always checking to make sure that there are no filled in stars. 2017, this is where you're most likely to find those filled stars, so you really want to look for those. Starts with a couple zeros on this particular one. That always leads me to believe there's a good chance it could be a rare. It seems that a lot of the rare stars start off with a couple zeros. Not always the case, but that's generally what I think of whenever I see a couple zeros like that. Checking again, not a filled star. Another one with a couple zeros and a 1, so I mean that's a fairly low number. Usually for a low number you want to see at least 4 zeros, but I've got 0018, so that is a low number. If you read that as a regular number, that's 183,195. So if this was a print run of only 250,000, well, it's a low enough number to be part of that print run. I have to look it up to find out what it actually is, but that's part of why I like seeing the zeros up front. Another 2017, not filled in. Another 2017. So I found my fair share of stars. And here's a 2013 from New York. One of those infamous B notes from 2013 has potential to be one of the doubled notes, so I will have to check that on the list. 2013K, this one is rough. I think it's even taped together, so that'll be going back in circulation, I'm sure. So my older notes, 2001. I save notes that are 20 years old and older. If they're newer than that and they're crisp, I will save them, but otherwise you're talking 2001 and older. Here's a 1999 that's actually really crisp too. 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. Nope. 1993, also a chance at a web note, but this isn't. Kind of rough shape on this one. And the not the oldest, and the find of the week. This is a 2017, it's a modern note. Check out the serial number, 56155165. That's a radar. It reads the same forward and backwards. If you start on the outside, you see 5s, 55, 66, 11, 55. So it is a radar. Of course, when I first saw it as a trinary, 1s, 5s, and 6s. And then I took a second glance when I saw those 2 5s in the center. And that's how I usually determine radars. Looking at these two positions here, if those two are identical, then you have a chance at a radar. If you're looking for a repeater, you're looking for the first digit and that fourth digit to see if they're the same. And of course, I double check that as well. But this one is a radar. They can be found in circulation. Here's another one found in circulation. And these go for about 20 bucks or so. So, I mean, that's a cool find. I'm real happy whenever I find one of these. So, what did I pull out this week? Well, I did a trade with Jessica Poulin in the past, and she gave me the $1 centennial note from Canada, and then she also gave me a $50 Canadian note. And the other note that I had asked her for was this one. This is a $100 Canadian note. This is the current currency from Canada, so this is not a paper note. It's a plastic note, a polymer note, and just really cool. There's a lot of different things on here that I like. To start with, you have this clear area, so you can see right through. You've got the holographic images and stuff underneath, as well as the reflecting. That's just really neat when you turn it like that. The image in the hologram is the same as the image here. Now, I have not gotten clarification. I want to say that this is the front of the note because it is it has the face. So to call this the front would be an easy thing to say, but most notes have their serial numbers on the front. So that lends credence to this being the front of the note. It's a real interesting note. It's the medical innovation is what this is. Developing insulin right there. And one of the other things that you're going to find on these notes, you can see in the light here, is that because it's a polymer, they actually have braille. So you can feel the actual texture of the note. If you're blind and you know braille, you still know what kind of note you're holding. Some of the other things you're going to see on this note is the micro printing. Bank of Canada is what this is in French, and you can see the 100. And as you look at that, it gets so small until you can almost barely read it. But if under magnification, you're still going to read it perfectly clear. And that micro printing, that is very hard to do. You can see the series of this note here, right there. Issue is 2011. And you can see here, this note is legal tender from Ottawa. Who is that pictured on there? It is Sir Robert Borden, the Prime Minister from 1911 to 1920. Kind of reminiscent of like Henry Ford. There's also this clear area over here as well. So the $100 note from Canada, it's very interesting. I'm really impressed by the amount of design and the amount of work that Canadian notes have. There's a full-blown microscope on there. You've got a DNA strand on there. All of our currency always has stuff that's well over 100 years old on it. It's nice to see a modern note showing modern technology. Imagine if we actually used our notes to help educate people rather than just hold up things that happened 200 years ago, whether they're right or wrong. Anyway, that is the $100 Canadian note from the land of Canada. Yes, Canada $100 note. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you again next week.